Hey everyone, Indigo Eyes here. Today we discuss yet another interesting law of karma called the law of responsibility. And I would like to clarify once again that, or emphasize the fact that the word law is not the correct word to use when talking about the Sanskrit word karma, because the law in Sanskrit is known by the word dharam shastra. And this word means the science of ordinance. And the scope of this word, dharam shastra, it's much more extensive than what is denoted by the word law. Now, dharma can be defined as duty, justice. It's the way of life that we live. People translate it to religion also, but that deviates from the meaning. And these dharam shastras, they contain the rules of conduct and rituals, duties of people at various stages in life. And they discussed the purification rites, forms of hospitality, obligations, and so forth. So each karmic law has the power to serve as a guide throughout our lives. And often they talk about the simple truths of life that may have become not so simple anymore. And this has nothing to do with religion or you're being spiritual. These are the laws in place from the universe, just like the law of gravity, which we all abide by, whether we like it or not, right? We are not flying in the air because we don't like the law of gravity. So these are the universal laws. And the universe in itself is very complex for us three-dimensional beings to understand. So, coming to the law of responsibility, it states that only you are responsible for everything you are, for everything you have or don't have, for everything you achieve, and for everything you become. And what mirrors, uh, we mirror what surrounds us, and what surrounds us mirrors us. This is the universal truth, and it does not change. So we must take responsibility for what we are, for our own lives, for what we do and what we say, which means when you think or feel something, when you do something, it is a reflection of the internal you. And this is the same for what you hear, feel, and see going on in your life. Being observant, truly seeing what goes on around you without judging or criticizing, this is what quickly puts you in touch with what goes on within you. And there are no excuses or complaints, and there is certainly never anyone or anything to blame for your life. What this means is most of the time, for everything wrong in their life, some people like to blame the circumstances or other people. Something is always wrong on the outside, but this is not so. Know this, that you have attracted these events and circumstances via your thoughts through the law of attraction and via the resulting choices you have made. And this is not as simple to explain as, the word or the sentence law of attraction is being used very frequently all over the place, but it's not a straight line to say. Meaning a number of other actions, conditions, thoughts, they could together attract what you want or not want, or you could attract what you don't want. I'm going to try explaining this with this example. I hope I can explain it. Let's say number 6. So 2 plus 4 is 6. 3 plus 3 is also 6. 5 plus 1 is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6. So what I'm trying to say is that there are a number of variables involved, and there are a number of ways to get to the number 6, right? So that is what I wanted to say, that law of attraction means there are a whole bunch of actions, conditions, or thoughts they could together influence an event. You may not attract the unwanted directly, but it happens indirectly and unknowingly also. So, as an example, let's say you have a friend or family member that finds themselves in a situation where they feel their life is out of control. And it could be anything, it could be a medical diagnosis, a debt problem, a loss of job, or anything. And you are trying to be there and helping them. But in all that process, you yourself could end up feeling victimized and pessimistic. So you start getting overburdened with all the help you're providing to them. and you want to be there for them. So your life in turn now starts feeling out of control. See, it's mirroring what's outside you. Your family or friends around you, they were feeling that their life is out of control. And unknowingly now you start feeling your life is out of control. Otherwise, if this wasn't happening, you have everything good going on in your life. But now, because you are there, you're actively focusing on that situation, your entire focus changes to this feeling of overwhelm. And when we think this deeply, we will definitely attract people, circumstances, conditions of that frequency or that nature. It, it, it isn't just the stress and anxiety on the part of the person who is going through the issues, but for you, the helper, as well, as you help them through it or you try to be present there. So, in a way, you shifted your thoughts from a joyous or peaceful state to the state of unrest, disappointment, or confusion, to say the least. And now imagine what will this state of mind attract, because feeling is the most important. So if this is what you're feeling, I hope this explains that why you can unknowingly attract unwanted circumstances. So the phrase that you are entirely responsible for everything and therefore also hold the power to change anything by choosing a different set of thoughts that will lead you toward making a different set of choices. Also, if you remain mindful, and then also you can avoid these kind of circumstances and yet help whoever you want to help. So to use this law in favor, be observant, see what is happening around you, and like I just said, what goes on around you mirrors what is going on within you. It represents your own inner discontent or turmoil with something that is going on in your life. So, to discover the answers to your own inner turmoil, learn to move into a peaceful state. When you can do that, those around you will definitely move to a either to a different place emotionally, mentally, even physically. And this can only be done by rising above the situation you are in and being a viewer without being attached to the situation, actions, or consequences. Meaning, living in the moment, following mindfulness. So, only through complete responsibility will you start making the progress you desire to make in life. These choices have shaped your life up to this point, right? And now, in this moment, you have a choice yet again to shape it any way you choose. So this is how you can put this law of responsibility to use in your favor. Number one, start taking responsibility for the path you want to take, meaning it's accepting that you are in this situation or this is the path and you accept it. And second is to go within yourself and clearly see your journey. However, it's not as simple or easy as the sentence looks, and we say this all the time: go in within yourself and see your journey and so forth. But we can all do this with practice and understanding of the process, that is, understanding of the how. We all have the ability to go within, and we are blessed to see clearly that which is reflected or mirrored around us. And we are graced with the inner knowledge of a healing process that is that is ours and ours alone to take, or yours and yours alone to take. So be at peace with yourself and with what surrounds you as you learn to see it clearly, and your inner guidance will take you in the right direction. You can hear or understand that guidance only if you have learned to free your mind of random thoughts. Otherwise, there is too much clutter in the mind and you are unable to hear the inner guidance. Basically, it comes to being mindful of every moment and living in that moment, and you will see that the random thoughts or the thoughts would just disappear and you will feel at peace, and will have this magical guidance to take you to the correct path. Let's look at the law of responsibility again. So what does it say? It says what happens to you is because of you. What this means is the cause of your problems is never on the outside. Okay, it's always we must go inside, or we must go within instead of looking outwards to find the cause of your problems. This means when you take the time to quiet your mind and look at everything in an unbiased manner without judgments or criticism, you will find how you ended up where you are today, or how you got stuck into an unwanted situation. This is when you will realize the meaning of law of responsibility clearly. So it does, so this law suggests that we are responsible for everything that happens in our life. And we are responsible for where we are today and where we are going. So the responsibility of our achievements and failures also falls on our shoulders. In a sense, everything that is going on in our lives is our own responsibility, and we have nobody to blame. We are free to choose the path. Therefore, our choices today define the tomorrow. And always know this. If there's a problem, there's always a solution. And usually the solution lies in the problem itself. But it's up to us to find that solution. And this is where the challenge lies, whether we can identify the solution that's right in front of us, but can we see it? Definitely, you cannot go around blaming other people. And when you try to find the solution by quieting your mind, either mark my words or be a scientist and do it, you will see that you will find the answers. However, when you don't understand this law of responsibility and go on what the words are stating, the law, the responsibility. So I've seen most people taking this to the extreme, meaning instead of using the information to improve their lives, they start blaming themselves. They become victimized in a way, because now they're blaming themselves for everything and anything that has happened in their life. I've found people saying that the work you do, the pay you receive, it's all your own choice. So you attract everything that happens to you via your own thoughts. Yes, but I believe this is a very dangerous way to think about this law. And quite frankly, it's pretty ignorant, because if you're not happy with something, change it. And true, when you unknowingly attracted these negative situations, you were not familiar with this law and the power you hold to change your circumstance. So, in a way, you are responsible, but that doesn't mean blame yourself for it. Now, that blaming, as you can tell, will bring another set of unwanted circumstances. So, we need to take a pause, clear our mind, go within, and try finding another set of thoughts. But when I say this, you will ask that there are thousands of families that may not want to live in poverty, for example, or the situations they are in, or that someone who has led a very healthy lifestyle has most definitely not chosen to have a terminal illness or not being able to walk again. True. And I am going to try explaining as simply as I can, as I just said above, that this is not just some linear equation where we can say they did this good and now this is why is the wrong things happen. So, so I'll explain it with this, that meaning you have had many lifetimes, and each lifetime we have done good and wrong deeds. And this is how we accumulate our karma. The goal of each of us is to understand and learn from our mistakes and moving on to make a joyful life for us. Meaning, our soul is supposed to evolve during and with each lifetime. The universe is like a kindergarten. If we don't learn a particular lesson, we definitely cannot move to the next grade. And the same lesson then keeps repeating in our lives over and over in different ways. You will see that the lesson at the end is the same that you needed to learn whenever or years ago. However, the circumstances will keep changing, but the lesson would be the same. So this is the best I can explain the above example, that how no one chooses to be terminally ill or choosing a hard life, and then why are they facing that. It also means that this is the only way we can learn what our soul needs to learn. So, in a way, we attracted these circumstances to us unknowingly, right? If the soul, because let's say you have to go through this illness, because if you know that any adversity that comes, we come out of it more learned. So it's possible that your soul could only learn what it needed to learn through these kind of circumstances. And some people, I say that they attract knowingly these circumstances because they say, yes, I know I must learn from the situation, but I don't want to. Okay. Now, if you simply look at yourself as a soul who has had many lifetimes, or it could be that this is your first lifetime also, it becomes easier to see how we carry karma from our past lives into our current one. And I will emphasize here that it's not like there is some entity or whoever you want to call the God, the spirit, anyone sitting with a pencil and a paper and they are writing and keeping a track of this. Um, like I said, the universe is very complex and these things are in place in the universe on their own. So some people may call them karmic debts, and it explains why some of us continuously struggle with finances, health, relationships, or other areas of our life. Therefore, from a spiritual point of view, one could argue that the circumstances we were born into, they reflect our karmic score in our past lifetimes. When I look at the law of responsibility, I want to inspire all of you and everyone to take charge of your own lives. That you should not feel personally attacked by this concept because that is not the point. Okay? The law of responsibility is about doing the best you can, and your best may look different each day. And if we live in the moment, definitely we will be on the right path. And every day we will make the correct choices. So, this law is about dropping indecision, making choices, and accepting the consequences, whether they are good or bad. It is knowing that you are free to create your own happiness and go against the odds. This law is about making mistakes. Okay. Yes, we all make mistakes. We are all human. And so, but we need to accept our mistakes. And then we try again, whatever it is what we wanted or we were doing. So, in addition, the law of responsibility also talks about dropping expectations and holding yourself accountable when you know you have to. It's about knowing that with every action, and it could be a good or a bad action, you are planting a seed and casting a vote for who you want to be or become. So, this law is not about judging yourself for past mistakes. I reiterate that please don't think as that this law is asking you to judge yourself. No, it's not about beating yourself up for your struggles. It's not about blaming yourself about not achieving enough. What is this about? It is about accepting what is, seeing your mistakes, learning from them, and letting them go. And the key word is letting them go. So, simply put, the law of responsibility is understanding that you're responsible for making choices in accordance with the highest good of all involved to your best ability. And yes, sometimes, well, the life, it does get complicated. So I hope now you can use this karmic law to design a life of your dreams. And remember, as I always say, there are no accidents or coincidences in the universe. Meaning, if you are thoroughly intent on what you want, you will definitely get it by being mindful, letting go of letting go of the past, letting go of the past and learning from the past and letting it go. So this is all for today. If you liked the information I provided, you could give it a like and even subscribe to my channel so you will know when I post another informational yet helpful video for you. Example, I'll see you next week with another karmic law. Thanks for watching and bye for now.